look at his it's either like a social media post or something. He'll show what his video views are over the years, right? And like year one, it's like video views 6,000 or something like that, right? Not 6,000, it was like 6,000 total for the entire year. And then like the next year, it's like maybe a little bit better. And then the next year, it's a little bit better. And then it just starts to exponentially explode, right? And he is where he's at now. And I'm not saying if you start your channel now, you'll just be MrBeast. Like he kind of figured out his niche, figure out what he needed to do. But from those initial videos, you'll see that like you need to be doing this, and part of the solution is to use AI, potentially to get your channel in the algorithm and just get it launched. And then at a certain point in time, MrBeast is a pretty lofty goal, but if you can get a passive income from a YouTube channel that you really don't need to put much time into, or at least to get it launched and get it in the algorithm, and then maybe once it is providing some amount of money, then you can upgrade it a little bit, figure it out. But yeah, like this, the real thing is don't be too precious about the first videos you put out there if you want to do a YouTube channel, because it doesn't matter. Like you just need to get it off the ground and in the algorithm. Look at MrBeast, look at any of these influencers and what their original content is like. That's not what it is now.
Yeah, well
cool.
said.
I am going to reach out to our tech team and find out what the answer is for you. Again, because like I think my permissions are basically the same as anybody else on here. And I'm not a host or anything like that as far as I know. I think if anybody wanted to hijack the meeting, they can.
Yeah.
So far have not.
No worries.
Cool. All right. So today, happy post-Christmas for everybody who celebrates Christmas and any other winter solstice holidays that we have. Today is Q&A day. We'll see how many Q's and how many A's we have. If there's some dead space towards the end, either today or tomorrow, if we have time today or tomorrow, I'm going to do a little GitHub Copilot tour, just another tool for you to use potentially for vibe coding, if that's what you're into. So far, I haven't gone deep into it. I have tried it out on a few things. I do think that it's the type of, it's one of these things, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Value is in the eye of the AI user, something like that. Is this working for you? Does it give you the level of control and feel that you're looking for? It is pretty handy though that like it will do everything in your IDE. And then maybe if this one goes decently, we might try it out some of these other in IDE solutions. What I mean by that is if you see some of our other coaching calls, basically I'm in Claude's web browser and asking it to create code for me, and then I copy and paste it into my coding program, my IDE. But these other solutions will just do it right there for you. And there are pluses and minuses to doing that. But let's see how much of a plus there is. And probably, at times, one of the best solutions may be to do a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. As we were kind of discussing, I think, this was on Friday, one of the solutions to being, say, a power AI user is to not get, well, I guess it's two things, not get stuck on one solution, and then also not try way too many things at once, which is what we all do, right? We try way too many solutions at once, but, use the different solutions in coordination or potentially against each other, right? So if you're not getting what you want out of Claude, go to ChatGPT. If ChatGPT is not giving it to you, go to Perplexity. Or if you are getting what you want, check it with the other solutions. Once you get a business plan out of, say, for instance, out of ChatGPT, go and run that business plan by Claude. Ask Claude, hey, what are all the problems here? Run that, by Perplexity. What's going on here? See what Grok maybe has to say. And so the same thing here. When you're vibe coding, maybe there is a good workflow that you're finding where you start in Copilot and then, you do a lot of your troubleshooting there. But then if you run into an issue, you have a good solution to either bring in like Claude Code or Cursor or, upload it to one one of the platforms and see what it has to say, or whatever. But try to be nimble and flexible, but not too flexible where, as we discussed at the top, you just have 12 different services that you're paying for and you're only using them a little bit. Oh, what do we have here? So Scott just threw something in the chat. Do Arena. And then LM Arena. Okay, so this comes from, we got this a tag team from Jean-Marc. Hopefully I didn't totally destroy your name. And then Scott Kane. Arena. If one of you wants to jump on the mic and ask me why we should do Arena, go for it. LM Arena allows head-to-head. Oh, Jean-Marc. Yeah, go for it.
I was explaining because what you telling, I'm doing that. I use one prompt and I'm putting competition, Claude, OpenAI, Google. And so I have a 360 degree round about one thematic. And in this case, I have a real view. And sometimes it's disturbing because you have Claude saying something and OpenAI saying something, and you have only two ways. So, and when I have this case, I hear my intuition, and so it's the way I decide. But often I use several LLM for the same question.
Do you have to do a subscription to each LLM you put in the arena?
Yes, because for example, Claude is powerful, is really, really powerful. And you have long text, and if you have the free version, you took 2 times in the day, and you have to wait. So for production, it's not so good. But a few weeks ago, I give you one of my secrets. I found a tool. The name is Abacus. And I think for the workflow for the production plant, you do your big research with Abacus. You put it on a notebook LM. And this way, you have something very, very fast, very powerful and deep. Because with only 30 minutes, you have a big report with Abacus, and you use a deep agent.
Okay, so you use Abacus. I've been wanting to do a coaching call on Abacus. Somebody had suggested it like months ago, but there's just so many different things. So you're generating a report through Abacus, and then you're taking that and you're putting it into Notebook LM, and then now you have a resource to. That's interesting. Yeah. Again, I love this type of stuff because again, all of us are early adopters. This is the type of testing and like activities, things that you're trying out that most normal people just aren't doing, right? Most people barely know what ChatGPT is, but you're out here pitting your LLMs against each other in LM Arena. I think that's something that we should try out. And I love this idea of creating something in one AI, dropping it in another AI tool, and then now you have a really great solution for yourself.
Sure, and this concept Arena, I didn't invent it. It was from a tool. The name is Galaxy, and in the tool you have the function Arena, and they put in competition 6 LLM, and you put one time the prompt, and you have all the answers.
Cool, great.
And for those who would like to build courses, also in one shot, you can have a total course with Abacus. So I was amazed this morning because I just use 800 credits for 20,000 for each month, and you have a report about 40 pages, so it's big.
Very cool. I just sent myself a note about LM Arena. We might try that out in another coaching call as well. So you're new to coaching calls, is that right?
Yeah. This weekend I upgrade for the school, and I watched many videos, and I was amazed the gems, the goals we have in all the 3 videos. So I really wanted to have the 30K playbook, and it's level up the game. So with this kind of stuff, you dominate, and I'm confident. Work on it 2 weeks, and after that, I will dominate the game. And what the conclusion I had about all my way on the AI, it's a strange, it's a jungle. So I think you need to have 30 ideas, challenge these ideas with a workflow as arena, as I told you, and they give you a score. If you pass 8 on 10, you go deep research and you build, create my calendar, my content calendar, create my offers, create my landing page, all the stuff. But the first step is to validate your ideas with the big research competition and everything. And the AI is very good for that. And on top of that, you can use Perplexity to be very near about the information, not a cutoff info from 2024, like some LLM app.
Yep. No, that's you bring up a point that like I've been pushing for a while, is that, you know, one of the great things about AI is that there's no longer gatekeepers the way that there used to be. If you have a great idea, then you can bring that to life in a way that you really couldn't before, right? If you have an amazing idea for an app, you know, for most people, putting together an app was just either technically or resource, you know, impossible. But now, you know, as long as you are willing to put in some amount of work and try it out, you can build an app using AI. The downside of that is that too many of us are going to find out that our ideas are no good, right? What you just suggested, though, is, you know, before kind of going through this whole process, although I do think that that is useful for people to like learn why their ideas are no good, have the LLMs really validate your idea first before you put in that time to figure it out.
Yes, it's hard. It's hard because it's disturbing and depressive, because 95% you put it on the garbage. So, and it's harsh. For example, Google tell me, no, you can do that. And I wanted to push, and I lay down, and he told me, now that you crystallize that you understood what I told you, we can study this thing. It's very like a manager that pick you.
Yeah. No, and I do a lot of AI work, right? And so at times when I try to validate my ideas through Claude or OpenAI, sometimes they'll be like, no, you can't do that. And it's no. Yes, you can do that. You don't know what you're talking about, Claude, or because like I don't know what it is about their algorithm where it does seem like they are searching the internet, but maybe it's the way that they're pulling up, you know, available resources or sources or whatever. But it'll tell me, like, I'll like kind of try to do research on Nano Banana Pro or something, right? And it'll be like, no, Nano Banana is limited in this way. And I'm like, no, it's not. The new Nano Banana can do all these things. Like, you're wrong. Go and do better research. And so everybody watch out, especially if you're trying to do AI solutions, new AI solutions, and you're trying to validate it through OpenAI, Claude, Perplexity. Perplexity might be better at this. That might be the one. If you're trying to do something that's more current, where it may tell you, oh, this is not possible. And it's like, no, it actually is possible. It's just not up to date with the most current, you know, things. And then even ChatGPT is not up to date on OpenAI's developments. I think that it's, I don't know, agnostic or whatever. But I remember when we were doing the workflow builder, which was like their new rollout when they had a prompt to workflow system, and I would ask ChatGPT about it, and I had no idea. I had no idea about OpenAI's new advancements. And the same thing is probably true if you possibly ask it about its new image generator. It may not give you the up-to-date information about its new image generator.
But when it's a standard project, sometimes I put a line of critical thinking. So they use mental model to analyze the idea and to purge the data. For example, sometimes I wanted to launch a Tripwire, a $7 product, and I use a critical thinking, and I also use data from Facebook ads. Tell me what is the market, what is the volume of research, and all this stuff. So at the end, you have a real analysis of the project. Is it viable or not? And you can put real time on it.
Yeah, that's great. I love your way of thinking and the way that you using AI. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I hope to see you more coaching calls. Let's go on to some other folks who look like I think are new here as well. Let's get them to introduce themselves. Matthew Broadbent, I see you with that Christmas tree behind you. If you want, you can turn on your mic and say hello to everybody, or you can stay silent if you prefer. Here we go.
No, happy to say hello. I've been looking at using AI to help me in my existing business, which is all about helping business owners to exit their business and using AI essentially to get the business owner out of the business by automating workflows. So that's the reason for my interest. I've paid to be in other AI type environments like this. Start Your AI Agency by Greg Squibb. He's a UK guy, lives in Dubai. And that's been really useful. What I've found though with that, and I'm yet to discover with this one, is that you end up being a bit overwhelmed because there's so much going on in AI that you don't actually know where to start. So it's really important, I think, to have a plan and probably stick to the plan and don't really veer away that much from it unless something absolutely totally game-changing happens within the AI space that you're actually niching in. So that's where I'm coming from. And I'm really glad to be here and good to meet you all.
Amazing. Okay, and for those who have been on the coaching calls before, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I totally agree with what Matthew is saying. Of course, AI is overwhelming right now. It is just such a powerful and useful tool or set of tools, right? There are so many new things coming out. There's so many new versions of new things coming out, right? And this is why I tell everybody about the 80-20 rule, where you need to spend 80% of your time on your flagship project that you are working on, or using the models and tools that you've already validated and shown to work in your workflow and whatever you're doing. Then the other 20% of the time, use that for other projects, other tools that you might want to test out, and really try to be, selective and smart with your updates, right? So like something, where Nano Banana comes out, and then Nano Banana Pro comes out, and then now GPT image editor comes out, right? And partially what you can do there is if you have a system already that you have built, like a workflow or whatever, and it has image editing capabilities, you would want to potentially abstract away that layer. What I mean by that is set up the entire platform, and then basically it calls the image editor as a solution, right? And then you can easily just switch out your image editors. That's something you could be doing in that 20% of the time, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm really focused on doing a content generation system. I need to use an image editor, but make it so that it's easy to switch out image editors by creating a provider-based system. And then boom, every time there is a new, because there's going to be a new image, ChatGPT, I will put money on this, is going to come up with a new version of their image editor in 2026. Nano Banana is going to have a new version of image editing in 2026, right? You can basically guarantee that that is going to happen. So knowing that that's going to happen, be prepared for it. The same thing with LLMs, right? We're using LLMs for RAG systems, for chat systems, or whatever. Make it so that it is easily updatable for these new LLM updates and things that are going to be happening. Great. And then I really like that concept of helping people exit their companies using workflows. There's a lot of sense in that, where a lot of people who are exiting their companies are probably older, right? That is probably part of the demographic, right? And so that they're not ready to create automations for the most part. And then they already have workflows in place that they know work. Those are the best ones to automate. I always caution people about trying to create a workflow and automate it at the same time. You're just really compounding the complexity of something. Work on your workflow first, even if it is an AI workflow, right? Get that AI workflow to be productive, to be valuable, and then automate that AI workflow. If you try to build an AI workflow and automate it at the same time, you may be automating something that doesn't work, right? But if these people have successful businesses and they have workflows that they know work for them, those are the best to automate. You already have KPIs, you already have, you know, metrics that you know that you're supposed to be looking for. But probably one of the hardest things is, and this is true for all of our AI consultants out there, getting people to properly document or describe their workflows is not the easiest thing in the world. That's when you really find out how communication and logic kind of break down for certain people, especially when it comes to workflow things. Amazing. Okay, I also see Daniel. Daniel's in my lower left. Hello, Daniel. What brings you to AI Profit Boardroom? What kind of AI are you interested in, or what kind of workflows are you thinking about doing? All right, holding. We can come back to you if needed. I can't hear you. Nobody can hear you.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Yes, I'm a new member. I just came into to the group during the weekend. So as Jean-Marc, I am new here. Yes, basically, I'm looking for my way in AI. So basically, you know, I'm interested of that technology for last, let's say, 1.5 years. But that's not specific, and I'm trying to be more specific. I'm trying to find out my way in that AI, because as I find out in a business, when you are for everything, you are for nothing, basically. So in that jungle, you need to find out the piece you are the best in. So that's why I'm trying. I know how to build some assistants, in LLM, how to make some workflows, how to make some nice stuff, and how to automate something. But at the moment, basically, I'm looking for something more specific. So during that journey, I find out that the constructing companies are the most, let's say, old thinking companies, and I think that I'm trying to solve them problems. It means that sometimes to make the offer in the kind of company, it gets even 48 60 hours to make the offer, because you need to calculate everything and you need to base on some specifics. That's why I'm trying to find out how to automate this kind of processes, because at the moment I'm working in the ice rinks company. We're building ice rinks and constructing. So that's why, you know, I came into that industry 2 years ago, and I could see that it's a lot to improve, and that's why I'm trying to go in that way, because like my background is 15 years business in beauty sector. I used to run a wholesale for the beauty salons and the cosmeticians, but unfortunately, you know, the COVID just destroyed everything, and you know, after that I'm looking myself for some new ways.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's such an interesting niche to get into. I think you are correct. A lot of these I don't know, like manufacturing, construction, building, a lot of these businesses are very antiquated, and at times what you'll find is it's not even necessarily that they need AI solutions, they need automation solutions, right? These are different things, or even just like, hey, you guys just need new software. Like, it's not even AI, it's not even automation. Like, there's other software out there, you know, that would just solve your problems. And I probably keep upping this number. Like I would tell people before, there is hundreds of billions of dollars in potential money for people who can create efficiencies with AI, because it's across every industry. It's probably trillions of dollars. Like, I mean, when you really think about it, like how much AI is going to transform all of these different industries. And if you have an in, or you can develop an in these various industries, there probably isn't an industry out there that can't use AI, right? If you look at the ones that are lagging, those are the ones where it's going to possibly take the longest, but then also have the largest sort of honeypot of money waiting you, right? Where like you look at things like real estate. I know we have a bunch of people on here who do real estate. There's a lot of interest right now in people in real estate in using AI for automations, although I don't think that they've really created solutions in there yet. But then you have something like what you're talking about, ice rinks, where it's like, yeah, there probably isn't a lot of people even trying to do AI and automation for ice rinks. But if you could figure it out, I know, like, it doesn't sound like you maybe are American local, or maybe you are. You definitely have an accent.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I am from Poland.
Poland. Okay, great.
Yes.
Oh, probably a lot of ice rinks in Poland, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yes. Even in America, right? Like, if you create the AI automation software platform for ice rinks in America, that's a multi-million-dollar idea, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is not basically. I mean, I think that the ice rinks company is just one of the industries where somebody who is producing got no time to develop the processes. And I think that there is a lot of money because most of the times those companies got a lot of money. Most of the times the constructing companies are quite rich, but they are always behind because they've got no time to improve that. And there is a lot of stuff to improve in this kind of companies. I mean, so the particular, I mean, in the ice rinks, yeah. So the problem was that you still need to count everything, to measure everything, you know, to find out how much is going to cost the client. Yeah, it cannot be like the client will call you and you will say, yeah, that's going to cost you $200,000, let's say. So I made the app based on Claude and based of Gemini, and I made the creator of the ice rink, yeah, where you can make the measures and you can select the boards you want and all that stuff, and it works. But it's only one of the stuff you can improve in any of this kind of companies. And I mean, because we're talking about the AI, we're talking about nano banana stuff and all the solutions. But you know, when I'm not good in images because I'm not the, let's say, the artist, I'm not going to have the same feeling as the artist. Let's say as musicians, they're starting to use a Suno AI. I'm not going to be the artist, so who I am to teach somebody from that industry. So I'm thinking that we also need to find out what drive us in that AI and what we good in, and then to, you know, wear that AI on our hands and be more powerful with that talents.
Yep, amazing. Okay, all right, that's very interesting. We definitely do not get a lot of ice rink AI in here, but I love the variety. And then Ian is just posting in here that his friend just went through Popeye's drive-through in the UK, and AI was taking the order. And you know, I think we're going to see more of that, right? And we are going to see people pushing back against that. Right, there is obviously that sentiment. And I wonder how much of that is like one of those things where there are definitely people out there who hate AI, but I also think that is a little bit more of a niche, right? People who just like out and out hate AI. I think a lot of us see it as, I bet basically everybody on this call, right, sees it as a solution. But I think there's a lot of people who are sort of more in between, and then there is sort of this media fabricated that is based on certain people who just like absolutely hate AI and who are now going to boycott Popeyes because they're using AI or something like that. But I think, as everybody on this call is probably at least consciously or subconsciously aware of, you have to change with the times, right? Like, you know, we are early adopters for a reason, and, you know, we're seeing the value here instead of, you know, looking negatively at these AI solutions. Embrace them. And it's like, oh, okay, if Popeyes is doing that, hey, who else? I'll build AI for Burger King and McDonald's. Be that guy or that gal, right? Instead of the one who is now trying to push back against, because you're not going to win. This idea that you're going to push back against AI and solve anything that way is just, it is very short-sighted and I think ignorant in a way, just because most people don't realize how much AI we are using already, how much AI we were using 5 years ago. And it's just that now the AI talks, right? And like that, it talks and it makes videos and it makes images. But you know, all of these systems were using AI to begin with. And with that type of infrastructure and solutions in place, you know, you're not really going to be able to push back enough. And so you might as well, as they say, like the largest transfer of income or wealth is going to happen due to the AI age. And it's like, hey, if they're going to transfer all this wealth during this AI, I think all of us will take some of that wealth, right? And, you know, part of it is if you're newer to AI, right? If this is sort of your first week with AI, your first month, your first year, your first couple of years, it may seem daunting or difficult, or it's not, you know, you've gotten some, it's like a little bit of a drug. You've gotten some cool hits that are making you high, but then a lot of lower points where it's just like, oh, this isn't really working for me, or I'm not sure. You know, this is the time to be doing that stuff, though, right? Everybody is going to need to go through those ups and downs and kind of figure out where do they fit in and how they can be a part of this. And it does take, you know, as sort of Jean-Marc pointed out, you know, validating your ideas. And as the people have said, is like not getting too overwhelmed, trying to stay focused. And if you have a good idea and you stay focused on it and you keep pushing it and you're flexible, there's a better chance than not that you can turn this into something that is going to either just make you passive income, change your income bracket, or substantially make a difference in you and your family's life. Or as you know, some of the people that are on here are just trying to get time back with their family, right? Where it's like, instead of, hey, maybe I'm not going to become the richest person in the world, I'm not the next Elon Musk, but I have a system that gives me passive income and I get to spend as much time with my family as I want, right? We all have different goals on here, but you know, AI is going to be one part of your solution. The other is, you know, strategic thinking and dedication and being focused, which, as you've seen, as like so many people on these calls talk about, that's not easy, right? Especially the focus part. This AI world is sort of almost engineered, or by, you know, just the dynamics of how it works, to keep you unfocused, and you just really have to be regimented. And again, like, find that idea that can potentially bring you money, validate it, make sure it makes sense, and then really hammer that idea as much as possible. And I think that if you can do that over the next year or two, we're going to get more successes than we get losses. Okay, all that from Popeye's AI. Let's see, we have Cool Mango. Just want to, you know, we don't usually get a lot of cool mangoes in here. I feel like you're probably new. If you want, you can turn on your mic or drop something in the chat to introduce yourself. Hello.
Hi, yeah, nice to meet you guys. My little story is I actually look older than I am. I'm about 50, just over 50. I'm looking for a new direction, to be honest. Lived in the UK, Pakistan, Turkey, now in the UAE. And the thing about moving different countries, you can't really set up something physical. And I'm not the kind of guy who sticks around. Recently, because of some health issues, started playing around with ChatGPT, Claude, etc. Trying to figure out, you know, can't really afford these consultants kind of thing. So typing in all the, you know, blood tests and everything else. It was just interesting how it was playing out. A bit confusing as well, but that's where I started to get more and more interested into the AI kind of stuff. I've got kids who are very vehemently against AI and destruction of the environment, and I'm there trying to convince them about it as well. So I'm playing that time, but it's something which I'm looking towards in terms of, I'm not sure where I'm at the moment. I do know I'm definitely interested in it. Trying to navigate it, the overwhelm, I agree with everyone. But just looking at the school, the group, it is very interesting. Before it was like I didn't know where to go to. This seems a lot more structured, to be honest. So yeah, it's just early days for me, to be honest.
Yeah, that's and possibly try out this idea of the LM Arena, especially if you're doing something where you're getting healthcare advice from AI. I think there are definitely people, and like say doctors, who would recoil at the idea that like you would be, but it's like, hey, like it's a solution, it's help. Like you don't take everything that it says at, you know, as being absolute fact, But it is tough to get solutions out there. It is tough to get advice and consultations. And I also tell you, like, these doctors aren't always right? Or they don't always have solutions for it. I know a number of people, including myself, where I had some sort of ailment, and you go to one doctor, and they're just like, I have no idea what this is. Like, they would just like look at you like, it's like, well, isn't this your specialty? Like, if you don't know, who is supposed to know, right? I feel like we are in such a weird time right now that, you know, at times it does make more sense to, if not solely rely on AI, but at least get some help from AI and the vast amount of knowledge that exists in the world about all of, you know, medicine and all these different issues. I brought this up on Friday. What I've been doing lately, and it's definitely not to the same extent that you are. My Instagram timeline is just filled with exercise, health advice, you know, nutritional advice, things like that. And these influencers will post these things on, you know, oh, like there's this new research that shows if you do this, you'll increase something by 2%. Or if you do that, you'll be able to, you know, this is life-changing. This is how you burn belly fat, right? They love to tell you about how you're going to burn belly fat or longevity, right? Like this will help you, this will add 5 or 10 years to your life, all these different things. I've just been taking all of these different statements that I'm seeing on Instagram from these health, influencers, and then just running them through an LLM, and they're made up. Not all the time, but like a lot of times there's just a kernel of truth in there, and then they took it and they extrapolated it, and something is true in vivo or in animal models, but they haven't proven it with a double-blind study with humans yet, which is the gold standard. And so the AI is both, you know, causing a little bit of, it can, you know, make things a little bit more confusing, or for a lot of people who are using it, I think in a more structured and responsible way, can provide you more information.
I mean, I probably should have said that beforehand. I've got a pharmacology degree as well.
Did that help out?
Yeah, and yes, definitely. You know, it's like you're asking ChatGPT, you're asking Claude, you're asking, and you see where they're getting it wrong. But look, I've got some background. I don't want people like thinking, hey, I can just go willy-nilly and just take what they're saying. And even I catch it like, okay, you've missed out this, you missed out that, you missed out this. You got to restrict it for the journals, the doctors that you want, the particular philosophy in medicine that you're chasing up, etc. So the Walsh Institute, or the Gary Brecker kind of style, or something. And many doctors don't look at things holistically, etc. I'm into herbals and things as well. So yep, definitely you can't just take what there's lots of hallucinations, but it's all very interesting, but that's also scary as well in a manner of speaking. So it's, again, an interesting area. I also, you know, English teacher and you know, got an interest in marketing and franchising. I've done that as well. So I'm just trying to figure out, okay, where would my direction go in this? But yeah, it's an interesting time, and watching the space.
And then one other point you brought up that I think that a lot of people have probably either wondered about or have definitely heard from the news or from their community or their peers, AI is terrible for the environment, right? And I think this is basically true of every new technology, right? I was working in the blockchain technology for a while. Let's see, 2021, 2022, that's the big pushback against blockchain, besides the fact that it's all just a scam, right, is that it's terrible for the environment. Any new technology that is widely used is going to have an impact on the environment. There's just no way around it. But then one of the things that they didn't bring up at the time when they were talking about blockchain technology and the issues with the environment there was that a lot of the new blockchain chains were switching to a more energy efficient and not as terrible for the environment. And then even Ethereum, right, which is the second largest blockchain in the world, switched to a proof of stake instead of a proof of work system, which also reduced the energy consumption there. And so all of these new technologies are going to consume a lot of resources, and then they get more efficient and they get figured out. And then we're already seeing that they are creating newer chips that are going to go faster and going to, you know, use up less energy. And we are, you know, as humans, we are not great for the environment. And, you know, really, we can say all this, but cars are terrible for the environment, you know, depending on, you know, which aisle you sit on. But I think that, like, as we can see, exhaust is not the greatest thing in the world. None of these people who say that AI is bad for the environment have given up their car, right? Or any of these other things that are also terrible for the environment. It's just one of these things to say to, to push back against a technology that most people don't understand. And I'm not it'd be great if it was better for the environment. But when you see things like, oh, AI, I think I saw something that takes up as much energy as New York City. And it's like, okay, yeah, do you know how much AI is doing right now in the entire world as far as the amount of work that it's putting in? It's not all just jokes with ChatGPT. It is managing a lot of work and handling a lot of things, from like the weather to, your Google Maps or Waze navigation, to all these different things that are happening. And yeah, that is going to cost electricity. There's no way around it. Well, thank you for sharing. Cool, Mango. Let's see. Barbara Ling. Barbara, are you new to AI Profit Boardroom, into the coaching calls? If you want, you can turn on your mic.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing way better than yesterday.
Oh, okay.
That's for sure. I was down and out for all the day.
That's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that. What what inspired you to join AI Profit Boardroom into the coaching calls?
Well, I have been following the guy who's created this
Julian?
for a very long time. Julian, yes, Julian SEO. Yes, I've been following Julian Golden, I believe his name is, right?
Yep.
Good. And I have always wanted to learn what more I could do. I have been enrolled in other programs as well, so I did not have the funds, but when the opportunity showed up, I kind of sort of did grab it with both hands, 2 feet, and my coffee cup. So that's why I am here.
Okay. Are there specific AI use cases or AI tools that you're interested in learning more about? Or, as people have brought up here, AI can be very overwhelming, but we need to focus. So is there a focus that you have already sort of, identified?
Let's see. When I am a marketer, so when ChatGPT came out in 12/22. I quickly made a digital info product about that. And from there I was hooked, basically. I began with ChatGPT. I discovered Claude works way better for outputting content with my voice, but ChatGPT works way better with schedules/tasks. So I can create blog posts every morning automatically and choose to use them if I want to or not. I've also, I'm really glad to be here today. I just recognized that I was maybe half an hour late, and I do apologize for that.
No problem.
I do a lot of Midjourney stuff. Yeah, I love Midjourney. It's a lot of fun, and it allows you to express creativity. I cannot draw a recognizable stick man, so to say. But Midjourney does help out a whole lot. What I would like to do, I would like to learn how to create a double of myself. I would like to learn B, how to output my blog posts, etc., and have them automatically get sent to my WordPress site. And I'm pretty sure that might require API or something like that. What else? I guess that's about it. What I do in my school with my business partner, is we focus on creative and unusual ways to earn income online, ideally. And that's another area in which I find myself fascinated, because it is amazing what exists out there that people who don't search for it are not aware that it exists. So, and that's me.
Okay, amazing. I will try to give you some input and advice on your different topics. The first one, that you want to create an AI digital twin of yourself. So Barbara, you are a unique person who there's nobody else in the world just like you, who is a complex, like all of us, individual with all kinds of skills and abilities. I think that, for you to make this twin, at first you need to figure out what are the tasks and knowledge bases that you want your twin to have, because you're not going to be able to totally clone yourself right now, right? And so figure that out, and then what tool can you use that will be able to do that. As far as automating your WordPress workflow, that is a lot simpler, and maybe something that you can as a lower hanging fruit that you can find a solution for. We do have, if you look in the classroom section on AI Profit Boardroom, there are N8N workflows. Are you familiar with N8N? Have you used that yet?
N8N is
Yes.
what I am familiar with. I don't know if that's what you are thinking of.
Yeah.
And I have not done anything with that.
Okay. So N8N, we have N8N templates on in the classroom section. I think it's called, there's like a section that's called N8N or N8N lessons or templates.
Right.
And I know that there's one in there, I'm almost 100% sure, that will handle hosting, publishing to WordPress. And so you can use that. It also suggests, so on our Thursday coaching calls, that's when we do more, that's when I do the N8N things. And in there, we have been using prompts to workflow, which is really, if anybody is starting their N8N journey, I highly suggest using the prompt to workflow feature. Pretty sure you do have to be a paid user. It's roughly $30 a month, but it will build.
Which is roughly $30 a month.
Yep.
Hey, Jen? Or
And then it will build workflows for you, or it could take the workflow that use the starting workflow from our template section and have it generate a newer version of that that's more tailored to what you're looking for.
I appreciate that. What is the tool that's like $30 a month?
So N8N. So if you, the N8N is $30 a month.
Okay.
You can do a
alright.
free version, but I think that the free version you only get a trial for. I don't know. I'm on the paid version. I think it's $28 a month, something like that. And so if you're looking to do N8N, you can do that. There's also, you know, for something like this, you could. I don't know if you're interested in vibe coding solutions, but you know, this is not the most complex thing out there. You could have Claude create this solution for you in Python code. That's what we do a little bit more on our Tuesday and Friday coaching calls. If you're interested in seeing that as at least the basis of how to do it. We won't necessarily be setting up WordPress automations, but you can see how we can build anything using that.
That is extraordinarily cool. Are there coaching calls every day?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or no, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And I'll go over this for everybody because we do have a lot of new people here. So Mondays are like this typically, where it is Q&A day, but we have so many new people on the call that we're roughly just doing intros. Sometimes on Q&A day, there's not very many Qs and there's not many new people. So I really have to start calling on people like third grade math class. And then Tuesday, Fridays are more hands-on tool exploration and then typically vibe coding, where we like really show you how to. It used to be, if you look at the older coaching calls, on Fridays, I used to do these presentations on different topics. Like they're a little bit more theoretical, not theoretical, but like not hands-on. Some of them were like, what's a good UI solution for different AI applications? Or there are ones on how to do AI consulting for people, things like that. But I started to run out of topics for Friday presentations, and then I'm overwhelmed with different AI tools and vibe coding projects to do. So I switched the Fridays to be very similar to Tuesdays. And then Thursdays are N8N day. Where, and then really I am sort of running out of N8N ideas that we haven't done yet. And so if people are interested in an N8N project, let me know tomorrow probably, and I might choose that as what we do. And then on the N8N days, I do use either prompt to build or the AI ask and just build everything using the AI tools in an N8N.
Excellent, excellent.
And then finally, you mentioned Midjourney. And so I am an AI imaging, I'd say expert probably, but then also hobbyist myself. That was for Gen AI, my first sort of entry point was AI images. I actually was not that interested in LLMs initially. I was way more interested in image generation, just because I have a computer vision background, and so that concept was much more interesting. It wasn't until I didn't understand why people were using ChatGPT for like the first year. It was like, because I would just see all the sort of versions that people were saying, where it's like, oh, well, you could tell it a joke, or you can ask it to tell you a joke, and it'll tell you a joke. And I'm like, I don't get why we would do that. I've told this story before. I had this project I was working on that was just impossible. And the group that I was working with, they were using ChatGPT to help them. They were doing it in a non-responsible way, where they were really just asking ChatGPT to do things, and then they weren't fact checking it or error checking it or doing whatever, and then just spitting it out. And so I was like, oh, I don't know about this. But then it was an impossible task we didn't have enough time with. And I realized it's better now. Back then it was worse. But I could still see it's like, oh, this will do 80% of the work in 2 minutes. It's like, okay, I get that as a solution. It's not, if you're expecting it to be perfect and give you exactly what you want in 2 minutes, that's not going to work. But this is going to do a rough draft for you. This is going to set everything up for you. And then from here, if I just revise it, then I can get something out of it. And still, I think that practice is useful and necessary, but ChatGPT and Claude are much, much better these days than it was a few years ago. But when it comes to image generation, I've done a little bit of Midjourney. I really haven't used it that much. Are you familiar with Stable Diffusion at all?
With Stable
Diffusion.
I am familiar with it. I've looked at the playground. I then went back to what I was doing.
Okay, cool. It really is, for all these different platforms, what works best for you. There is so if you get Stable Diffusion set up, and I think there's the playground, but there is, and I don't know if you're able to like put in whatever model you want. But if Midjourney has one, or maybe they've branched out. They used to have their Midjourney look that was very specific to them. With Stable Diffusion, you're able to put in all kinds of different AI imaging models. It can create really just like very, very different types of AI images in different styles with like what is it called? It's not a LUT. With Allura and all kinds of different things. If you really, really want to get into it, there are some pretty amazing Stable Diffusion solutions. It is a little bit more technically advanced. Have you tried the new ChatGPT image generator?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, the day that it came out, I made it a challenge to myself to complete, finish, upload, and turn the buy buttons on within 48 hours. And I learned a lot about the 1.5 version, and I was able to complete my own challenge, which was nice, given the fact that I've had some severe health issues in the past.
Oh, no.
So this was my first opportunity to say, does Barb still have it? And the update, ChatGPT 1.5 images, pretty amazing.
I know.
Yeah. Regarding Stable Diffusion, that sounds a lot as in a comparison, not images. There's a site called Poe.com, and that has bunches of different AIs that you can try. So every time that I create a blog post or there's something I need to share on social media, I'll always go to Poe.com and I will select 3 of the top image creators and just paste in my requirements for each 3 and then choose what look best.
Very cool.
So very cool. Yeah, it works.
Awesome. All right. Well, amazing to have you here. Our hour is up. There are a few people that I see that are new to the call that I didn't get to. If you guys are back, or gals are back here tomorrow, we'll try to prioritize getting to you. Again, we didn't have time to do GitHub Copilot today. I think for sure I'm going to carve out time and make sure that we get to GitHub Copilot tomorrow for everybody who is interested in this vibe coding solution. Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you in the upcoming coaching calls. Good luck with all of your AI automation projects. And again, if you're specifically interested in an N8N workflow, I am looking for suggestions for our Thursday coaching call for something for us to tackle. Have a great rest of your day or evening.
Is the call over?